It is my distinct privilege and pleasure to introduce a very special gentleman. He is our 2016 Starworks Symposium special guest. His name is Ron James, conscious media veteran, founder of Ivolve Media Group, Incorporated. James has created and produced over 200 DVDs covering the topics you will find on IvolveTV. Ron has won a combined total of 17 national awards for various media arts. He hosts his own show on IvolveTV, Bigger Questions, where he explores the potential fusion of science, spirituality, and mystery into common human understandings that will shape the future. Ron will also present IvolveTV. Please join me in welcoming Ron James to the stage. Thank you.
Wow, thanks everybody. I really appreciate it. It can be truly said, especially with what they're discovering in quantum physics, that we truly have no fate but what we make. And right now, we're on a precipice. It looks like this. It looks like a dark, dead, destroyed planet Earth. Or it looks like a vibrant future where humanity evolves and becomes part of a galactic civilization. And no element of human civilization, no generation has ever held this fate in their hands like we hold it right now. It's not our children, it's not our grandparents, it's us. Okay, and that's a big, big deal. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about the new paradigm. We're going to talk about how everyone that wants to play a part in it can. So bear with me on a flight of fancy. I am suddenly becoming a time traveler from the future, and I'm not, but for the sake of this presentation, indulge me. I'm here to talk to you about what happened to this planet. This is what it looks like where I came from. It's dark. It's pretty dead. There's not much left. What remains of humanity is ragtag people struggling for survival. It started off, it wasn't complicated, what happened here. It didn't take that much. It wasn't a conspiracy. We killed our oceans. We just did that through our own stupidity, through our own overfishing, through our own zealotness, through our own greed. Once the oceans were dead and global warming set in, the whole planet burned up. There wasn't that much left. You know, it didn't take that much. We didn't have to go much further than where you guys are right now. It just happened. And then there was the perfect storm of dark destiny that caused what happened next. And it's not an inconceivable turn of events. When the resources are all gone, and these countries that have nothing left but their little nuclear bombs to try to limit the population, that's exactly what they did. This isn't far-fetched. It's where we're headed. That. Okay? That. We did finally get alien contact, but it wasn't like what we expected. It was more like the Galactic mop-up crew. They came to clean up the mess, eradicate what was left. You know, from a galactic standpoint, when a civilization self-destructs, because they were allowed to self-determine, and therefore allowed to self-destruct, then you got to come clean it up. So you flatten everything. And after a few million years, all the traces are gone, and even the radiation, most of it, and you can start over again. You can re-terraform the planet, and you can put down a new seed civilization that just might make it this time. And really, that's the goal of a lot of the Galactic Federation, is to create these races, take the ones that have potential, the ones that show a spark that's unique to all the universe, and give them the chance to make it. Well, we didn't. However, quantum physics is showing us that multiple realities exist. I believe that possibilities exist, and I believe that our own perceptions and our own beliefs and the own way that we choose individually to conduct ourselves throughout our lives may even play a role in the world that we perceive when it actually happens. In other words, you may experience the world that you just saw, or you may experience a completely different world. And if what science is telling us and what we're learning about the nature of reality is telling us, that may be almost completely up to you and the group that you identify with here on the planet. So, because there are possibilities that exist, there is hope. I'm a time traveler again. I'm here from a different future. It wasn't that hard to accomplish this future either. We just had to use some common sense. This is a new Earth. It is embedded with technology that complements both the planet and the species and our place in the galactic civilization. It's a beautiful place. Everything's alive. This is one of our cities now. It's amazing. Gravity, yeah, we conquered that a long time ago. Civilization is pretty utopian. We still have our human frailty and our human flaws. Nobody's perfect. But we solved a lot of problems that could have kept us from getting here. And it wasn't us, the us from the future. No, it was you, the people in this room right now that made the world I come from possible. And for that, I want to thank you. We discovered brand new technologies for farming. It was amazing. There was no more pollution-based farming. There was no more waste coming from the food. Everything complemented itself in such a way that we could grow vast crops, enough to feed way more people than were on the planet. And it was easy, and the Earth thrived because of it. We discovered all kinds of energy. I mean, there's new energy sources now that I can't even tell you guys about, you can't even conceive. But we also were able to build energy sources based on what was already on the drawing boards back here in this time. There's no energy problems in the new world. There's no monopoly. There's no conspiracy to enslave people because of their need for energy. There's as much energy as you want. And it doesn't do anything to the environment. It's beautiful. Meat. In my world, there are no more cows farting. And the reason is because we're able to grow it. We're able to grow it in a lab, and it tastes pretty good. A lot of times, no matter how much a civilization evolves, and no matter what the technology is and it brings, we still do have our basic moral questions that we have to answer. In my time, this is a big one. You know, if people want to know, it's like, can I eat this hamburger because I'm a vegan? Well, we're still working on that one, but the fact of the matter is we came up with technologies that enabled us to move forward. We are becoming galactic humans. We are living in galactic civilizations. That could have been our future. This could be our future. And so the question really is, which one of these futures do you want to be a part of? Now, I'm back from the future. I'm just Ron on the stage right now. To me, there are three paradigm-shifting events that could end in a positive outcome for humanity. Because right now, the path that we're on is not exactly, if we keep meandering down it, this giant ship of human civilization is not going to slowly turn in time to avert a disastrous outcome. We need something big. Now, I've identified ET disclosure as one. That's the kind of thing that might unite the planet, bring us some new technology. It may force us to understand that we need to be united and join a galactic family. And that could create a change so radical that we're able to come together as a civilization and go, put on the brakes, take the right turn, avert disaster. The second one, to me, is proof of life after death. Because every single one of us might make a few better decisions if we understood that this isn't it, that we're just characters in a play, that in the scope of time and space, it's just a blink of an eye. So maybe we change how we do a lot of things. Maybe we change the way we treated each other. And maybe that would be enough to take that right turn. It's going to give us a positive outcome that most of us want. The third, of course, is an energy breakthrough that totally shatters the current paradigm. Because right now, our population is largely controlled by its need for energy. So if a breakthrough were to happen in such a way that it could be shared with the vast populace, greatly decrease or eliminate the cost of energy, we would then be in a situation where we could take a deep breath, make a positive turn. The fourth, unfortunately, is calamity, because as a species, we seem to be at our best when the crapola is hitting the fan. So, unfortunately, it may take something like extreme global warming, a civilization endangering event, to make us suddenly put on the brakes, crawl into a cave in some underground base, and crawl back out trying to reevaluate things. But that's not really the outcome any of us want. If the ETs are here helping us, I've heard people say, well, you know, they've been here all along. They're trying to steer humanity in a positive direction. Or they have this dark agenda for humanity. They are trying to manipulate the outcome. I don't really care which of those things it is, because at the end of the day, it is time right now for these guys to make themselves apparent. Because we don't have that much time. We need this information. We don't need it from the government. We don't need it from the experiencers. God bless y'all. But the point is, we need it in an undeniable, provable manner that cannot be disputed anymore. Nobody disputes the existence of gravity. If you get 100 experiencers talking about what happened to them and it's all the same, you're still going to find a whole lot of people that are disputing whether there's any legitimacy to it. So we need, literally, the ETs to land, let us know they're here. And if they're not going to do it now, when are they going to do it? I mean, this is the time. Humanity is just now beginning to understand the scope of its potential on an experiential and a scientific level. What I mean when I say that is that our science is finally getting closer and closer to our spirituality. We are realizing that perhaps we don't die when consciousness dies, that maybe there's a holographic nature to the universe that makes life after death something we're going to be able to prove with a mathematical formula. And that's really, really cool, because that's really going to change a lot of stuff. How many of you choose the outcome for humanity that's positive? You raise your hands, but I can't see anything, so it won't matter. And now everybody should ask themselves, what am I doing to make it happen? What am I doing? Because apathy is the code word for the 21st century. It's so easy to say, well, I'm striving to become a better person. I'm working on myself. It's not enough. It's not enough anymore. Things are just too critical. And this whole 100th monkey thing, you know, I made a joke about this at Architects of the New Paradigm. The 100th monkey is not going to exist if the 99th monkey doesn't talk to him. It's not enough anymore for us to just be working on ourselves. We have to be, those of us who know, those of us who understand that we are on the brink of being part of a galactic civilization, that we're on the brink of uncovering such a quantum leap in the human condition that we might not even have flesh anymore. It's that big. There's those of us who know this, and it's not enough anymore just to know it. If we really want to save this civilization in this segment of reality, we have to climb to the highest mountain, and we have to shout it out. And we have to be willing to take that risk. We have to be willing to do whatever it takes to make that the number one priority in our lives, making this world a better place, doing what I have to do it. Each one teach one. Again, it's not enough just to go, okay, I'm working on myself. I'm very evolved. I meditate every day. I haven't eaten a cow in months. It's not enough. We have to share. We have to find community around people who believe in this stuff, and we have to get together, and we have to take the world that we want from the world we're living in right now. Because there's a lot of opposition. There's a lot of asleep people. There's a lot of people who think it's much more important to drive that big monster vehicle that pollutes the atmosphere than it is to just take a deep breath and look at, hey, how can I recycle more? How can I eat better? How can I leave less of a footprint on this planet? How can I treat my fellow human beings in a better way? We all have better things to do, and it's just not going to cut it anymore. The cool thing is, we're living in a matrix. Science is beginning to prove it. I believe it 100%. We are living in a illusionary reality. And the cool thing about this is that even if you don't want to say, oh, well, you mean we're just humans plugged into some big computer? It's not exactly like that. But science and the way the universe works is already comparing itself to a computer game. I mean, let's look at the function of this. In a computer game, you've got your little controller, you walk down a road, you turn right with your mouse. The computer knows through a set of algorithms what it is going to present to you visually. We're finding out that the universe works the same way. It's amazing. And so even if you can't wrap your head around we're all living inside some quantum computer, which is okay, we are living in a universe that functions on the rules of physics, which compare themselves to a computer algorithm, which compare themselves to the way the artificial realities we're building work in the macro reality we're experiencing. It's the same stuff. It's amazing. And so we have this opportunity collectively to be the new paradigm. And what does the new paradigm mean? It just means that we've got to take the things that are not successful for humanity, not successful for the broad scope of humanity, and we have to work to eliminate them and change them for the better. Every one of us is working on this, all of us, in one way or another. And, you know, I compliment everybody on what they're doing. Just the fact that you're here, it shows that you're awake and aware and you care and you're going to do something. Every day we're doing something. And so, as I began to really understand what this world was, what it's becoming, who's in control, I spent a long time asking myself, how do I want to be a part of creating the new paradigm? And obviously, because I was in media, I started thinking about what role is media going to play in the new paradigm. So I took my own leap of faith a few years ago, and I started looking at the media machine, and I started looking at what it was being used for. On this planet right now, we have the broadest, most incredible, most effective way of communicating with each other to ever be at the hands of humanity. And this is what it's done to us. It's made us a slave to propaganda, news. It's made us a slave to the machines. It's made us a slave to the airwaves. It's made us a slave to the people who want to control us. And that's why. If it's, you know, it's not only just to change your political views, but guess what? Each one of you is being used by this media machine to buy that. And the sad thing is, this stuff's not even any good. It's making us all sick. It's a corrupt, messed up system, even on its best day. And that's very sad, because we don't have any more time for corrupt, messed up systems. We have to take this stuff back. We have to do something to wrestle control of this communication platform away from the people who are currently abusing it. And I'm not saying go to war with the media. I'm saying if we don't want to go to this party, let's make our own. And we can. The next wave of media doesn't belong to those guys. It belongs to us. And we can do anything we want with it, because right now, there are no gatekeepers. There is nobody telling us what we can and can't do. There is nothing that says we cannot form community with each other through these new media capabilities. So this is the Sedona World Channel. The reason you never saw it is because I built it 20 years ago, and I tried to show it to somebody, and they said, well, Ron, what is that? And I said, well, that's an online television network. And they said, what? And I said, no, really, it works just like a regular television network, but it's completely on the internet, and it's completely free of the agendas of the people that are controlling the media now. And they said to me, well, yeah, but how does it work? And well, this was 20 years ago, so I had to kind of say, well, it doesn't yet, but it's going to. And so I've been working on this for a very long time. Make money however I need to do it. You know, I was at Earth, Wind & Fire. I was one of the producers there. So I do a lot of these kind of gigs to pay the bills. But where my true passion is, and where all my money goes, is in developing these new platforms. And so I just want to take a minute to share with you guys what I've done, because I've done it for all of us. The new media consumer wants pertinent media. They still want to be entertained, but for the most part, they don't want to spend time watching stuff that conditions them in such a way that's counterintuitive to who they know they are. They don't want to watch media that wastes their time. They want to put their eyes on a screen and get something out of it. They want to relate to what they care about. Now, this doesn't replace traditional entertainment. There's always going to be a place for it. But increasingly, people want more. They look for community in their media. And most people that are moving in this direction with how they want to spend their time in front of a screen, they understand, kind of how corrupt the whole system has gotten. But in order to make this work, there's three factors that have to come into play. One of the reasons the big media companies have not succeeded as much online is because they're still playing the old media game, and it doesn't work. The old media game is have a crew of 50 people, one of them to take the camera out of the case, another one to put it on the tripod, 3 guys to make sure the screw's tight, and then a crew standing around for hours and hours when it costs $200,000 to make a talk show, and then they put it on the internet and people steal it, and they're like, gee, we're not going to succeed here. The other, of course, is that they don't want to serve small demographics. We've gotten into a situation where, over 1 million people is a pretty decent view on the low end for the cable companies. But 1 million people aren't going to watch an experiencer show. 1 million people aren't going to watch a disclosure show. 1 million people aren't going to watch the kind of programming that you guys love and that other people in other conscious niches all love too. So therefore, we have a huge demographic of people that just aren't being served. They're being completely ignored because nobody's figured out how to make money off of serving these people. But it's not about making money, but it is about making sure that you can do the work. And so a big part of what we're doing is we have streamlined the techniques for producing special interest, set-based content. So for what is traditionally very, very little money, we can make quality programs in our own studios that are the best in their field. And that's the other part that you need to have in place. If you're going to make a show about raw nutrition, or you're going to make a show about what it's like to be an experiencer that only other experiencers are really going to watch and identify with, you have to make it the best show you can. And you have to do it on a budget, and you have to get it to the people that want to watch it. And then those people will support it, especially if you don't ask them for much. And so this whole new formula for media takes control of the traditional media machine. It makes the power of all this technology, of all this ability to communicate, of all this ability to gather your forces and converge with like-minded people, and it puts us right between the content creators and the people that are viewing it. And eventually it fuses it so that we're all the same. People that are watching this stuff are uploading their own videos. We have communities. And people are paying $5 a month to be a part of what they love. And nobody is controlling it. Nobody is saying, oh, we got to get these experiencers, so we're going to go in and we're going to make all this agenda-based programming. We're going to feed it to them to make them change their minds about what's happening to them. We're going to paint them as crazy. No, that's all gone. It's gone. All we have to do is embrace it. So after a few years of development, I started IvolveTV and a company called Ivolve Media Group based on these models. And not only did I want to create the TV network platform for the 21st, 22nd, 23rd century, but I also wanted to use that technological and creative creation to fuel the new paradigm. Because I'm not interested in all that kind of stuff. I don't want to take everything that I've developed and just use it for the same old reasons. So I'm not going to go on YouTube with videotape of me kicking my cat because I can make $500. It's just not what we're doing. We've created IvolveTV as our flagship channel, and then we've gone on to produce multiple episodes of about 9 original shows. The first one is called Bigger Questions. It's my show. I interview a lot of people. We cover everything from advances in quantum physics to experiential stories to what's happening in the ET field, life after death. And I'm always looking for the scientific connection. What is science eventually going to show us that can connect what we are seeing, hearing, feeling, and experiencing with what we can prove through scientific method? Because I think it's really important. So this is a really fun show. And then we have The Daily Vibe. The Daily Vibe is a metaphysical talk show. It's like the Regis and Kathy Lee of crystals and crystal healers. It's really fun. We have a show called Rads, where we're actually really trying to get to the bottom of what's happening with radiation on the planet, and nobody can get in our way and tell us what we can and can't do. We have a show called The Biggest Dreamer. The Biggest Dreamer is a show about teaching average people to use the techniques of manifestation to create positive change in their life. We have a show called Living Younger, where we're looking at all of the different ways that healthy living, advances in science, even advances in medicine, but mostly just about advances in taking care of ourselves and relating to our bodies, can help us to sidestep what is turning out to be a pretty corrupted medical system. And we have Alternative Greens. Alternative Greens is a show that is teaching us how to create communal farms, urban food communities, so that that food traveling doesn't have to take place, so that we can grow foods without GMOs, without chemicals. We could do it sustainably. And there's all kinds of great technologies out there making that possible. We're creating community around this solution. There's the Daily Vibe. Those guys, they have a lot of fun making the show. They come out from Sedona, and people love it. This is another show we're working on. It's called Transcending Realities. Now, this is a show, in fact, Barbara Lamb's been a guest on it. Paul Davids has been a guest on it. Lorian Fenton and some other very talented ladies, including my girlfriend Sky, are all, they're the ET view. Imagine the View with psychics and people that are talking about conspiracy theory. It's the same kind of thing. It's already building a buzz on the web. We put a few episodes out to see how it's going to play. It's a lot of fun. And again, you know, nobody's getting in our way. Nobody's telling us what we can do. And all these shows, they just really come from the heart. I did my very first Bigger Questions series years ago, and that's been out for a long time. But I've really moved it to a whole new level. And just have so much fun making this show. This is the very first one I shot on my new set in my new studio. And with me on this show is Jerome Glenn and Elliot Maynard. And Jerome Glenn is the founder of the Millennium Project. It's a group of futurists that get together and present a report to the UN and all the world heads of state every year called the State of the Planet. And they present the 15 current global challenges. And so we spent a lot of time talking about what are the global challenges facing us now and how are we going to solve them. And I thought, you know, if I can solve all the world's problems with my first show, where do I go from there? This was another one I had a lot of fun with, Nassim Haramein. You can watch all these shows for free on YouTube, too. I put at least partial episodes up there just for people to watch. And, you know, they're a lot of fun, a lot of people that seem to be watching. In between that, we try to do a lot of stuff to help the community. This is a program that I was very involved in, letting foster kids in LA come to my studio and teaching them how to find their way around a studio and trying to get them internships at the big studios. It was pretty successful, and a lot of kids I really felt like we touched. And so that's the other thing. As we define the future of business, and we can walk around all day long going, oh, we want to create a new paradigm. But we can't create it if we're allowing any of the old paradigm to continue in what we're doing. So in addition to creating a new media paradigm, new technology, new platforms, new programming concepts, and new ways of distributing, we're also trying to redefine capitalism in such a way that it exists to serve the people that make the company possible and to serve the public, and to quit being about greed and I'm going to take more from you so that I can have more. The whole thing just needs to shift. And so Ivolve Media Group as a company also is trying to create new models that embrace that. So we do as much as we can to help the community, and everybody that gets involved with us to do media has a fair shake in how that money is distributed when it's distributed. Well, I don't know how that one got in there. That was from Earth, Wind, and Fire. Yeah, so I get to hang around celebrities. I get to bug them sometimes. That's me with Steven Tyler. In between all the stuff I've been doing, I fell off a ladder and shattered my heel bones. So I was very humbled. I had to walk around on my knees for 3 months, and people were like, well, Ron, what lesson did you learn from that? And I'm like, well, I know I don't want to come back as a midget. But I never stopped doing the work that I'm doing. I was walking around on my knees making videos. And when I fell, I was directing a music video, and I didn't even stop the shoot. And I've been working tirelessly for this. I've sacrificed a lot. This is my new studio. We just recently moved into a new place. I found this warehouse, and I said, oh, it's beautiful. It was connected to an old dilapidated theater. which I thought was instantly beautiful as well. And now we've fixed it up. We're having events there. We have 10,000 square feet, and we're cranking all the time. We're always producing stuff. We're always making new shows. The model is working, and it's just really exciting to be doing it. I am the only person in this room, I promise you, who says he has a spaceship and actually does. That's Jan Harzan, who didn't believe I had a spaceship until I put him in it. And you know, it's really fun because we're using the spaceship for some exciting new programming. We also rent it out. This is Kendrick Lamar, the Grammy Award-winning singer. Him and George Clinton did a music video about being abducted by aliens. That went into the mainstream, and they shot it in my spaceship, so that was pretty fun. Elon Musk has nothing on us. We have put a dog in space. What's really funny about the helmet that the dog is wearing is that it's the same helmet that the alien is wearing in the Travis Walton movie that you're going to see, because we shot all the special effects shots at my studio. So, so that's actually a very famous space helmet. I'm thinking about selling it on eBay. This is the coolest thing we've done. I took everything that I did with IvolveTV, and I've been working on, okay, now we're going to start creating a family of special interest networks. And so I teamed up with MUFON, and the guys at MUFON have worked with me to create MUFON TV. And it's a full joint venture, and what we're doing is we have a vision of making this the largest private repository of commercial-free ET-based material in the world. And it's very inexpensive to join. It's $4.99 a month, or it comes with some of your MUFON memberships. And starting as soon as I get back, we're going to be doing a live broadcast every 2 weeks where people can log on, watch us live in the studio, in the chat room. People can talk and time with the show. Jan Harzan will be there. We're going to bring in a lot of guests. I'm trying to talk Cheryl Jones into getting involved. It's going to be a lot of fun, but it's, again, another quantum leap in what's happening with media. Because now, people that really care about the ET topic can come here. They can log into this channel, and they can watch stuff without being bothered by YouTube commercials. They can be a part of the community, and you can interact with the field and be a part of it in a way that's really never been done. This is the new spaceship set that's going to be the MUFON show, and I just had some people, you might recognize Travis, and the lessons are there. Who else is in there? Mike Barra left already, but this is where we're going to be doing the show, so it's pretty exciting. So as we work together, all of us, to create this new paradigm, that's what we're doing at Ivolve Media Group. And so I don't know what the new paradigm is going to look like. I really don't. But I know that we have to usher it in collectively.